shit into the goal from the other side.
Yeah, I mean, you can if you're super accurate, but like it happens like
huge, right?
It happens like no, the goal's not huge. The goal is 5 inches shorter than me. I think it's like 6 feet tall. Yeah, it's 6 feet tall by 6 feet wide.
But the ball can bounce too, right?
Yeah, and if I stand in a goal that's 6 feet tall by 6 feet wide, you don't have much else to shoot at around me, you know?
True.
And they get the big net, and like goalies who have played for a while and play at a high level, like college or something, they're trained to like be able to watch the ball and move the stick all around to save the shot. So it doesn't happen much, like the long shots. No, they happen like at the very end of the game when the goalie is out of the goal covering somebody so that they can press, you know, like in basketball when they do a full court press, they'll do a full court press, but because you have one less guy than the offense, you have to have your goalie go cover that guy so the goal will be open, and then somebody will just fucking chuck it from one end of the field to the other, and they might score. It happens a couple times a season, like once in high school. It almost never happens in college anymore because goalies are like trained to stay kind of close to their net now because people become more accurate every year because sticks are getting better.
All right. Are y'all ready?
Have we been recording?
We actually have been for about a minute and a half now.
Okay.
But first things first, I need y'all to get closer to y'all microphones so everybody can hear you.
All right.
Hello. There we go. I'm much closer now.
All right. Checking out. All right. Welcome to the DZN Podcast. I am one of your hosts named Dre, also here with
Young Pluto. Call me Alfonso Holmes. You know.
I don't have a cool name. I'm just John.
Actually, call me Bezock.
What does that mean?
Hey, I'll tell y'all later.
Okay.
All right.
Welcome.
The first one is big. The B stands for big.
Is it B or BZ?
Yeah, Bezock.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not sure what
Well,
it is.
whether a do or whether not a do, let's get started with some beats. A beat. So, yeah.
This is tough.
It's kind of trippy. I like it. So we can like rap, right?
If you want to, you can.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right, turn it down a little bit for me, just a little bit. Beat kinda trippy, had me sitting in my head. Took a dab before I drove here, now I'm almost kinda dead. And I'm sitting in this chair, straight relaxing. Didn't know that Sully had it in him, now I'm straight rapping. And I get up on the beat, and I kinda got a flow. For a white boy, it's tough, yeah, you know. I'm 6'6", and your bitch wanna suck my dick, but I won't let her, cause I'm almost married, bro. Almost married, bro. Almost married, bro. Anyone else want me to pass it off to them? Kill this hoe, Dre.
Go ahead, Dre.
Yeah. When I step up on the mic, I know I just can't stop, and I'ma bring it every day to the motherfucking top. DZN Podcast, Retro Dre on the floor. Do it every fucking time I step on this fucking hoe. Wait, I mother can't breathe, and I gotta stop at ease, but I could keep on going. Days and nights is passing me, ain't no passing unless I gotta pass up the mic when I run out of flows. When the time I got it right, this a gonna hold on, keep thinking about what's going on in my head. But I know I'm not dead, I'm alive, living well, oh man. I guess I gotta pass it off now, cause I'm done for the moment and never, that's right now.
My homie just passed it off. You swing like a racket in golf, or maybe you go to the basket at all. I don't know if these niggas still dunking, but I'm thinking about something. I'm like, good, your niggas little munchies are real tall. Feel like I got, I'm gonna end it right there.
Bars. He's got
I don't
bars.
freestyle, guys, I write.
He writes.
Yeah.
Kick it off to me. I run it back, put 6 on the board, kick the extra point 2, now that's 7. Trying to lay stacks in the bank account. Look, stacks of bread. This song is now dead because I killed it accidentally. Murder.
Accidentally. Having on a murder. No more the apprentices.
There we go. That was fun. That was a good beginning. Good way to start.
We are the DZN. This is the DZN Podcast. I'm your host once again, Dre, with Zoe, and guest coming back again, John. And
hello, it's me. This time there's all 3 of us. Sorry.
Yeah, but but unfortunately, we have sad news. Kobe has died over the past week. If you haven't heard already, which you probably should have because it's everywhere. Kobe died in a tragic helicopter accident. Him, his daughter, and then about 7 other people have died in that accident. And apparently, I heard they were driving in a lot of fog at the time.
Oh, I can give you the actual aeronautical breakdown. I'm kind of training to be a pilot, so I understand what happened in terms of aeronautics, at least what they've released so far. Right. But basically, the helicopter and the pilot were cleared to fly.
Talk more in there.
Sorry. Yeah, I got to face more towards the mic.
Yeah.
The helicopter and the pilot were cleared to fly in weather like this, but he had to maintain visual contact with the ground. So like he was supposed to be able to see, and apparently the fog was about 100 feet off the ground. So as soon as he got above 100 feet, which is, some trees are 100 feet tall. As soon as he got above 100 feet, he couldn't see anymore. And so he decided to climb, because your only 2 options are to go lower and look for the ground again, which means you might hit a tall tree. Like I said, some trees are tall, or power lines or something like that. Or his only option was to go down and try and find the ground again, or go up and try and get above the clouds and then go to the airport, which was only a couple minutes away. So apparently, like according to what they've put out so far, it sounded like the helicopter started to climb, and then it might have hit a low pressure area and like not had enough air on the rotors and just crashed right into the side of the mountain.
Okay, but I had a question. Like when they have a helicopter, like usually when they take off, do they not go like straight up?
So they can, but like it's more of like a kind of tight spiral up, like kind of like a corkscrew, or like a wine opener. Right. Yeah, it kind of looks like a wine opener, because it's unless they have enough air and power to go straight up, they kind of spiral up a little bit, because it's aerodynamically almost impossible to just go straight up unless you have a ridiculous amount of thrust, which is why a rocket can do it.
Right.
But so like helicopters they'll take off, but they always take off and then either hover like 20, 30 feet above the ground, or go and fly somewhere else, and then as they get higher and faster, they slow down and start to hover wherever they're going to go. But like they can't just go from on the ground straight up above them. Like,
so how far do you think they would have gotten before they hit 100 feet?
Oh, so no, he was like probably at like 100, 150 feet while he was flying. And they were only like 3 minutes from the airport, I think, is how far they were flying distance. And then as he got closer to these mountains, which is another thing that would have helped, is helicopters aren't equipped with terrain early warning systems, which planes are, which like tells you, hey, there's terrain ahead, pull up. It literally says terrain, pull up, and it does it on a repeated loop until you're no longer in danger of colliding with the ground. But helicopters aren't required to have this, because they're technically flying slow enough that they can pull up away from the ground as long as they see it in time. And so he didn't realize he was flying towards a mountain because he couldn't see. it was a ton of fog, and then all of a sudden he can't see the ground anymore because maybe the fog swept in a little quicker than he thought it was going to or whatever. This is all just speculation, but I'm waiting for the official report. His two options are either to go up or go down because of he had instrument flight rules and visual flight rules, and instrument flight rules is what he was flying under that day, which means you can fly using only the dials and the controls inside of the cockpit. You don't have to be able to see out, but you're supposed to maintain contact with the ground because it becomes dangerous to no longer see what you're flying through. That's only in like a last ditch effort. If you have to go through a cloud, you know how to, but you're not supposed to necessarily. So he had gotten special clearance to fly that day, and his only two options at the time were to go up or go down.
Or stop.
Or just stop and hover. He kind of did. So he like all the videos that have come out and all the stuff, because I've been reading a lot about it. I mean, I know you two probably have your own Kobe like connections, but he meant a lot to me too. But so I've been following it. Plus it's aviation. I love aviation. I'm trying to become a pilot. But so he kind of apparently like slowed down and was kind of somewhat hovering, and then started to try and go up. And then in a helicopter, especially near the mountains or just even a small hill, it moves air differently. So like as the air is hitting the small hill, it pushes the air up. And so the helicopter might have suddenly just hit an area of not enough like thick air to go over the spinning thing called the rotor, which is what lifts the helicopter up. I'm just making sure y'all know. But so there might not have been enough air for it to grab and continue to pull them up. And then it sounded like it was just whining, kind of searching for power, and then it crashed, is what the videos have revealed so far. And I'm waiting for more from, like the NTSB and private investigators who are going to do their own investigating, obviously.
Sometimes you're just supposed to stop. And other times, you just have to think about what's going on and what do you have to do. What other options are there to get where you need to be sometimes? Mm-hmm. Because there are always more than one way to do something. We all know Kobe's history. Push through, push through, push through.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you have to stop. Sometimes you can always dial it back and bring it and put it another way. Because pushing through isn't always the way to go. Like in situations like that, when you see a lot of fog, don't even get in the helicopter, just drive.
Yeah.
And even when you're driving, sometimes it's really hard to see. Even when you got the headlights on, you can still barely see the next street you're about to ride on.
Of course. And even the helicopter rescue services, like all the EMS helicopters and all of the police helicopters and state trooper helicopters in the area were grounded. So Kobe's chopper had to receive like special IFR clearance to fly through all of this. And I'm sure he was just so confident because I think he bought it in like 2009 or 10 or something like that. So like he's been flying it for a while now. So like he's just probably got confident in his pilot and his helicopter. And I'm sure if Kobe had realized that like terrain early warning systems would have saved his life, he probably would have just invested in them because they are expensive to like me and you, but to Kobe Bryant, that's just a drop in the bucket and it could save his life one day. So this is like a wake-up call to people who do use your helicopters often. All of you listening to the DZN Podcast with helicopters out there, install some TAWs in there for us, please. Save yourselves. But yeah, no, I really do think that they shouldn't have flown. Obviously, it resulted in tragedy, but like you said, Kobe had that push-through mentality, and I'm sure he was just like, well, it's fine. I've flown in this helicopter a million times, and you just can't take anything for granted, and you always should err on the side of caution with things like that. And I think he just maybe got a little – because we're not meant to fly. We don't have wings or anything, so, like, people sometimes get a little overconfident of it, just like the ocean. They get a little overconfident in the ocean, and then suddenly a wave takes you down. So, like, you should always bear in mind that – we are not the ultimate machine or the ultimate force in the world even. Like we should bow to Mother Nature sometimes and just be like, shit, I'm gonna drive. I'm not flying today.
But also as people of ourselves, we have to also look at our life and say, why, or we don't always have to wait on someone to die for us to change.
Yeah.
we can change on our own without having something tragic done to somebody we know or somebody even we don't know that has an impact or any other that matter. We always have to just, all right, I want to be better than yesterday. If we had more of that mentality, that's what can carry us to better levels. That's why when death happens like this, to me, it may not hit me as much as it hits other people because I seen death early. 5 of my family members died before I was 18. So I don't look at death the same. It doesn't hit me as much unless it's really somebody I know. So that's why I usually just don't say anything like when celebrities pass or anything like that, or just people in general pass. I just stay quiet because it's just, all right, cool. But to piggyback on that though, every day is a day to do something different. Every day is a day to change and better yourself for the next day and the next day and the next day. So just keep trying and striving and hope that we can all be great at what we do and what we love, and hope that we find it. Because a lot of us really haven't found that yet. A few people have, but that's why so many people start to complain about stuff, because they haven't found what they really want to do, or they put themselves in a situation where what they're doing isn't good enough, so they just complain about it all day and say, dang, why am I not doing this, that, or the third? It's just, you got to look at yourself and ask the questions of those decisions you made. Like, all right, why when I did this, I'm stuck at this job? Or why when I was with this person, I have these people in my life that I don't care about, but they're still hassling me about certain things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, you have to have a work ethic, and you have to know what you want to do, but you also have to have attention to detail. You need to drill that into your brain and keep on noticing things that keep on recurring. Because you could be a smart guy and go through these life events and keep going through the same mistakes and just not get that one little piece of information is really killing you. And it's just, so to speak.
Yeah, in a nutshell, yeah. But before we move on, though, just say, as it always goes out to, rest in peace to all the people that were lost in the crash. And to message to everybody else who just listening, just keep in mind, every day is a day where you could go. So just remember that. Don't live like you have another day tomorrow, but don't act like doing something dangerous is going to be the fix to an issue you have. Just remember that your life is your responsibility, and your life does not only impact you. So that's what I was able to take from situations like this.
And to think about it, for a lot of guys who didn't have a dad and stuff, these social media guys and these basketball players were our father figures. A lot of these guys, African American, or maybe a lot of anybody who didn't have both of their parents, they were we see it through the TV, and these characters show us how to live, even if it's fake. And the Prince of Bel-Air, stuff like that, even if it's fake, we learn from it. We really learn from it. So we watched Kobe play, and that gave us hey, if I work hard, I could get just like Kobe. I could be cool just like Kobe. That's what he gave to me. He gave me a lot. Trying my hardest. I wasn't even thinking it that way before I really got into basketball. Try your hardest and really work on what you do, and you can have confidence in what you do.
Because that's what helped me. People besides my family really just giving me that information and insight on life to help me move forward. And just for other people, I wish it was more of the passing on of knowledge to each and every, from all directions, that actually give people just the upper hand. So, not an upper hand, but for just tools that help them proceed in the future the right way.
So you're talking about not idolizing people like Kobe and stuff.
No, that's where it might get misconstrued. It's just more of.
You also need people in your life who can teach you too.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, I figured. I knew what he was saying, but I was gonna say, like what he was saying, it's not bad to look at somebody like Kobe and admire his dedication to his craft. And I did that, I mean, every time I would go play lacrosse, even if it was just like pickup, I would stretch out a ridiculous amount and people would laugh at me because I'd be there stretching. I'd bring a foam roller to pick up and stuff like that. And they'd be like, what the hell are you doing? And I'd be like, Kobe stretches like this too. Kobe stretches hours a day. And you know what Kobe doesn't do? Take a long time to recover from injury or go down often. So you know what? I'm going to continue to stretch like Kobe. and like he also took up hours worth of my childhood playing 2K. My friend would be Kobe and the Lakers, and I would be IT and the Celtics, and we would just play hours and hours at 2K, and then we would go when his parents kicked us out of the house and play in the cul-de-sac, like play basketball out there where somebody had painted a hoop or had painted a 3-point line, and we would just yell Kobe and run and shoot as far as we could from the basket. It was fun, man.
But what's the funniest thing? This is a side note, but every time I played 2K, like when Kobe was in the game, I never used him, and he was one of my favorite players. Really? I never used my favorite players on 2K. I think that's like a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not good at sports video games. And recently I sold my Xbox just because I never played it. So I don't play too many games like that, but I would always play with my friends at their houses because they always had them. And so on 2K, I would just play with the Celtics because I'm a Celtics fan. And it was regardless of who was on the team at the time, I was just always the Celtics. And then when my friend would be a dick and steal the Celtics because he always was player one, I would then be the Lakers and let him win by like 1 billion so that I could just tell him that the Celtics were better. Yeah.
That's like brother, like that's what I used to do to my brother.
Yeah, those are like the fun memories though, because no matter what, Kobe was usually playing in one of our teams. And so like it was always fun hearing the announcers yell Kobe, and then watching him in the actual NBA was fun too. And then of course, like anybody, he had stuff in his personal life that wasn't the best, but he seemed to really turn it around and become just like, or not even turn it around, but just he seemed to really, foster a great family life for his children, and he was a wonderful father, and the end of his career was historic, of course, with his 60-point final game. I don't think any NBA legend will ever drop 60 in their final game ever again. I mean, Mike was 15.
Melo might shoot like it. Melo gonna shoot like it.
Melo gonna get a clean 12, and he's gonna go home.
Melo's gonna get 3 less than Jordan. And he's gonna head home. And no, if they let him wear a hoodie, maybe he might get 60. Hoodie Melo's a different animal.
They coming out with that new jersey, bruh.
Is it gonna have a hood on it?
No, that would do so much for the league if they did that.
That'd be funny, man.
What would that do? It would just make low percentage shots. That's all that would do.
Nah, it was like Hoodie Melo, bruh, bringing a hood into the game, G.
Bro.
Then think about it. Niggas gonna be wearing watches while they play.
OBJ's already doing that in the league, in the NFL, bro.
They'll be wearing Airmans, like, shooting threes and shit.
But like I said, me growing up, it took me till I got older to respect Kobe, because like when I was younger, I did not like Kobe at all. I thought he was just a ball hog, personally.
Yeah. Well, being a Celtics fan, I agree with that completely. I would always be like, why doesn't he pass it? Maybe then they beat us. I don't know.
But then as I got older and actually got good at basketball, I realized, I see why he did that in certain situations. I get it now. So that was interesting. And I started to kind of just look at how he prepared for basketball and what he did to put in for the game. I didn't know everything, obviously, about what he did, but just from what I started to take notice to as I got older and understood basketball, I was like, oh, okay. I see why he did what he did and how he got as good as he did. He just relentlessly just worked every day, just every time, and went as hard as he could, every time he was on the floor. So
yeah, and he knew the attention to detail things that a lot of people just look over.
He was a beast, man. He was just and that's what I'm saying with the stretching. Nobody I know stretches. They all hate stretching. Team stretching is like a joke to them, and then their legs are tired in the fourth quarter, and like really sore, and they don't know why. And it's like, bro, maybe you should have stretched a little harder. I don't know. I mean, you could touch your toes if you wanted to, but yeah, it's that's those little things that we'll all always take with us from Kobe. Like that's always one that I'm gonna have is like I'm always gonna stretch harder than anyone else because that's the only way I can be better than Kobe, or not better than Kobe. That's the only way I can be as good as Kobe. I can't dunk, bro.
This dude stretched his way into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Kobe stretched his way into the Hall of Fame. No, that was like that's just like the biggest impact he had on me in terms of like my sports career was teaching me the importance of taking care of yourself.
Yeah,
as an athlete.
But going back to like the you can still idolize those guys, but still have someone around you. It might be somebody around you that points out, hey, you're missing this detail. You know what I'm saying? That guy is probably going to be around you because Kobe's not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? He's doing what he's doing, but like we differ a little bit because I value Kobe a little bit more than like, because he has to do it with millions of people watching. You know what I'm saying? And like he's getting paid millions of dollars, so he obviously doesn't have to continue to put in that work. Like that's another level of and reason why he got to where he is. Like you take the people around you for granted. I'll give you that, but I think it's really good to like look at those guys.
Fair, but don't get infatuated with them. That's kind of the point I want to bring home. Don't be infatuated with their presence because they're who they are.
Agreed.
Like I said, if you didn't turn on the TV, we wouldn't know who they were.
Yeah, and it's not likely that Kobe is gonna say in his next press conference, "Hey Dre, I saw you skip that math problem on your homework, bro. Go do that shit." Like he's not gonna, so like it is important to have somebody in your life who can call you on the little shit, but like it's also good to have, your Kobe Bryants and your LeBrons who you like might look up to and say, I want to be like them one day in terms of my athletics. But definitely it's good to have somebody in your personal life who's there looking over your shoulder and making sure that you're not, screwing up on the daily.
Yeah.
But I do understand, though, that some people don't have that choice. So that's the unfortunate part that I was bringing up also earlier. It's just, I guess the part of me that still hopes for the future and stuff is whatever.
Yeah.
But moving on to different topics. Before that, just rest in peace to everybody that was involved in the crash once again. And
absolutely.
just for everybody in the future, man, just watch out, man. Every day is not promised. No,
and don't rush to, like get somewhere in a hurry if it's not the right conditions or something like that. Don't. It's just it's better to stay safe than end up not alive anymore. I think that's pretty universally agreed upon.
Even though we are saying it may not be another day, there always could be another day.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid of the end, but just know the end could be in sight. So just be careful. Be careful. But moving on to other things. Super Bowl number something, because I don't keep up with football. So what number is the Super Bowl? Does anybody know here?
Bro, I have no idea. All right, I don't remember.
I'm not
my
about
team's not in it.
Got it.
I'm a Patriots fan. I'm a fan of all Boston teams. Let's just get that out of the way. But yeah, my team's not in it this year. And knocked out first round. Unfortunate. Big sad crybaby me. Very sad.
It's deep though.
Yeah,
it's deep.
No,
I get it.
I don't. I'm a Patriots fan, and so like, there's always that hope. Maybe Tom will do it, but I was not entirely confident in our abilities this year. So yeah, I was expectant of us not making the Super Bowl, but I was really hopeful that we'd at least hit like second, maybe third round. That'd be tight. I'd take that season. That's a good season. I mean, we had a good season anyways. Anything is better than, like 5-6. But yeah, We can talk. What number is it? Did you look it up?
Yes, it is Super Bowl 54.
There we go. I knew it was 50 something.
I'm going with the Chiefs. And it's the Chiefs versus the 49ers.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, Sunday, whenever this podcast drops, at 6:30 p.m. Super Bowl 54. Chiefs versus the 49ers. I got the Chiefs. My score is going to be 7-0.
What?
Yeah, I said it.
That is a dumbass take, Andre. I gotta be honest with you, bro. I've never come at you before, but that is a dumbass take.
It's my take.
Okay, fine. You own it at least.
Is it a serious take? No. It's my take.
Okay, good. Yeah,
It's not
yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, both teams are really good. The offense for Kansas City is unbelievable. They have a lot of guys who can catch the ball and one really, really good one who can throw it. So that's always a recipe for success. But then the 49ers obviously have the best or one of the best corners in the game. I'm not here to argue that today, but Richard Sherman is very, very good at football. I'll agree with anybody who says that. And so, I mean, there's going to be interesting matchups to watch. And as a fan of football, I'm excited to watch those matchups, but I don't necessarily care who wins this game, although Kansas City has gone a long time without one, so and I'm always here to see Andy Reid on the television, so maybe a post-game presser with Andy Reid, the man who looks like Wilford Brimley himself, would be funny. Y'all know Wilford Brimley, the guy who comes on the TV and talks about diabetes, like the big fat white guy with the mustache. No, that's well, he looks just like him, and I love Andy Reid. He's a hilarious looking man. So I don't know. Maybe I'll cheer for the Chiefs. Maybe I'll cheer for the Redskins. I am currently undecided, but I think that it's going to definitely be a higher scoring game than 7-0. I don't see that being a likely story.
Okay. Moving on to other topics in the atmosphere. So some of us here are about to graduate. Yeah. And others are going to graduate in the future. So let's talk about that a little bit. Graduation is coming. It's in May, the beginning of May, May 2nd. How are we feeling?
Good. I won't get my paper till August, though, because I have 6 credits over the summer, and you can't walk unless you have 4. So I have to do 2 English classes and my internship. Instead of my internship and 1 English class, which is unfortunate, but it doesn't really matter. This is still my last full semester as a Peace student, and then I just have some little things to clean up over the summer to make sure I get my minor, and hopefully I'll transition my internship into an actual job. That's the goal, because I will be fully graduated once I'm finished with the internship, so maybe that'll work out to transition into a job. But, yeah, there we go. I'm feeling good about it, though, definitely. It's been 5 damn years. I'm ready to get out of this place. Not 5 years here, but 5 years since, I entered a college institution.
Same here, 5.
Yeah, I'm ready to get the hell out of here. I like Peace, though.
Yeah, Peace is pretty good. It's not great, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, nowhere is perfect, but Peace is, and from what I can tell, they're trying to change their flawed ways in terms of like hiring the right people to get academics handled for students who are new, because they're trying to get the people in who can like tell you how to get out of here in the quickest way possible. Because previously it was just a mess. Every time I went to register for classes, it involved like 6 registrar visits with my advisor, because I just am a mess of credits that I have and have not taken because I transferred 4 times. So.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not obligatory. It's not.
No.
But yeah, man, I might be like about to graduate next year, but like I'm a novice to my craft, like, so I still feel like I have a lot of work to do. I don't even when I graduate, I don't think I'll be, you know what I'm saying, even when I get the degree, I'm still a novice to what I do. So I'm just like,
what do you do?
I'm a game design major, simulation major. So.
Sweet.
So By the way, I haven't asked you this in a second. Like, what exactly are you trying to do with that degree specifically?
Oh man, I can't give y'all everything. Someone's gonna steal it. No, but I'm thinking about making like a
game about a plumber who wears red. Mario. All right, go ahead.
Didn't get it.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said Mario.
But yeah, I'm trying to like simulation and game design. You could literally make a movie with this degree, you know?
Yeah.
You could do some cinematography and stuff like that. So like,
I feel that. That's something that's, you know, always good because college is not going away, and neither is high school or middle school or elementary school. And at that point, it would be the parents, but still somebody's going to have to use it.
Yep.
That makes sense. Dre, what are you doing after graduation?
Well, y'all sitting at one of the things I'm gonna be doing. Y'all sitting here.
Yeah, me too.
Say y'all sitting here with podcast 1, music number 2, video number 3, editing number 4. Well, that's not just video. So engineering number 5, animation. Well, not really. Well, a little bit animation, motion number 6. Getting money to earn my own business, number 7, which is going to be the number 1 priority, of course. So basically, I'm just going to be doing a lot. So
I got a lot too.
A lot of numbers.
Yeah.
I'm doing one big thing.
That's what I'm gonna attempt to do, but I don't know. I've been a lot more creative recently. I've been taking pictures. I had Dre send me a beat. I wrote some lyrics. We'll see what happens there. I don't know. I've been writing a lot more because I'm in a ton more English classes this semester, and then also, I don't know. I've just been having a lot of creative ideas. Like I want to write a book. That's my big thing. I'm gonna try and do once I graduate. It's probably not gonna interest anybody, but except for big old history nerds like me. But it's gonna be called Ships of the State. And it's about Navy warships that have a connection to North Carolina because there's ships that are named after different towns and then different people. And then there's obviously the battleship North Carolina. And so I'm going to write, a detailed description of how the ships were built, who built them, when they were commissioned, why they were named for the city or person they were named after, and then what they did while they served the country. And then what happened to them after they were done serving, whether they were decommissioned or put into service with some other Navy or something like that. Because I love history, and history was just kind of the easy pick for me as far as majors went. So I went with it. But now I'm actually going to end up using it. So we'll see. I always knew I was going to do something creative, but I love podcasting, and I'm going to try and include a podcast with my book, like doing podcast episodes about some of the ships that are the most interesting, that kind of thing.
It's basically just an audio book.
No, I'm going to write a whole book, but then like I might do if like there's one that's like I'm going to do one about the North Carolina. That's part of my thesis for this semester is I'm going to do that this semester. And my thesis is going to spawn my book. I'm doing it about 5 different ships. And then my book is 58 ships. So this is going to be an actual serious, difficult task, and I'm going to have to make some money while I take a year to write this damn thing. Because even if I write about a ship every week, that's still a year, bro. There's 52 weeks in a year, and there's 58 of those motherfuckers, it's a lot.
It's cool, but you have like a demographic, though.
I do, and like that's the thing that's interesting about it. The best part about it to me is it's called Ships of the State. And it'll be Ships of the State, North Carolina. And then I can go do Ships of the State, Texas, Ships of the State, Indiana. Those are the 3 states I've lived in. But then I can also go on to Arkansas and all these other ships these other states that have had a large number of ships. And then when it comes down to it, those are sold in all museums and little bookstores in little towns across the state. And then also maybe they get on Amazon. And then I'm just making little money here and there for something that interests me anyways, because this was something I tried to find originally, and when I realized that nobody's done it, I was like, fuck, all right, I'll do it.
Perfect. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, I was like, God damn it, I'll do it. It's just like it would just be a whole compilation right then and there of the ships from each state. And then, you know, I mean, like the North Carolina History Museum here in downtown Raleigh, I bet you they'd put 30 copies in there. You know, they might sell those 30 copies over the next 4 years, but they bought them from me and now they're responsible for selling them. So I don't care. Or if they sell out quickly because they do some kind of museum piece or something about it, then that'd be cool. But I don't know. I think that this is something that would be sold in a lot of different bookstores at different little like museums across the state, and also it could be sold online. And people who are interested in this would be really interested in it because it's going to include like the different diagrams from the building of the ships and pictures of them in action and all sorts of stuff. So it's going to be a huge fucking book. It's going to be really big. I don't want to write it, but I do because I know it's a good idea and nobody's done it. But also this is just going to be a lot of work. I'm going to need a lot of coffee.
Well, at least you're getting on the track of doing something that may be outside of yourself, so to speak, or difficult per se. Because, like I said, greatness isn't easy.
No.
It's difficult. Like, you have to put in hours, time, planning, resources, other avenues and aspects of your life you didn't know you would have to get to create this goal that you have in mind for yourself to actually get where you want to be. So at least you're doing it or have plans of doing it. Now, doing it is going to be the next step.
I've already got 8 pages. I've written about 5 of them so far, but go ahead. Yeah.
You start, but now you got to finish.
I know, dude. I know. And that's the thing. The thing that's the most difficult is I have 8 pages so far, and I haven't even touched any of them. I just literally just kind of, because it was for an assignment last semester to like kind of come up with the start for my thesis. I just kind of made it happen that way. It wasn't designed to help anybody else with their thesis, but like I was in a history class and we had to write something about Raleigh, and I made the connection between Raleigh and the Navy because there's 4 USS Raleighs. And then I was like, oh, I could use this as my thesis and just include the battleship North Carolina. And then it just kind of snowballed into the idea for the book. But now I'm scared because this book might become so long that it's hard to do one about every state. But because there's a lot of information about each of these ships that I'm going to want to put into the book, but I'm going to have to trim the fat because there's a lot that's going to interest me while I'm doing this research that might not keep a reader's attention for very long.
That's why you have the editor.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, honestly, but I don't know who's going to publish this or anything. I'm kind of going to be writing it while I work other jobs and then hopefully get it published. But this is going to be like my personal project that I'm going to enjoy doing, but also is going to just be a really lengthy, research heavy type of thing. So it's going to be fun though. And I'm hopefully going to do some podcasts with you because I want to do media like this. I want to be a creative person for the rest of my life. I can't do desk work. Like writing a book is arguably desk work, but you know, I mean, going and visiting some of them to take pictures because some of them are still in service with other navies and stuff like that, and some of them are ferries right now actually in the Outer Banks. So like I could go take pictures of the Carolina and go do and talk to people who served on these ships and stuff like that. That will be easier than sitting behind a desk 300 out of the 365 days a year and doing spreadsheets. You know, I can't do that, but I like creativity. So maybe podcasting and photography and video work and writing a book hopefully will make me some kind of money.
It's all about who backs you in between time, because you can have all these hopes and dreams all you want, but if you have nobody to help support you that can get you somewhere, you're not going anywhere. And Absolutely. That's a fact. However, to spawn off of that, shout out to all people that are actually creating and doing something to be better for themselves and their families. That's always something good. Y'all need to get this.
Yeah, round of applause.
This nigga spam the button.
Yes, sir. All creatives need to be supported because, you know, they're the ones that make stuff like this work.
Yeah.
Somebody created a podcast. Somebody created school, even though I have a disarrayed opinion about what school teaches, but that's another day for another podcast. But Somebody created video games, cell phones, technology, music. So
creativity is just, there's a lot to be said for it. And I know this book would have like taken hours of my childhood and interest, and it would have spawned me to look up further stuff. I know that. So like that's why I'm really dedicated to writing it, is because like I would have loved to have this previously. It doesn't exist, so I might as well create it so that if somebody else wants it, now it does exist. And I feel like a lot of people will want it, so it might make me some money anyways. It's not even like, it wasn't even like a monetary thing at first. I thought, shit, I want to write this book just because I want to write it. But then once I realized there's 58 of the ships, I was like, that's a lot of ships, man. But then I was like, well, a book that long though might actually make some money. So, you know, we'll see. But I'm going to do it regardless, just because it's interesting to me. It's interesting enough to actually take my time. But yeah, that's how you got to be with whatever you're going to try and make money at, or else you're not going to give it your all. If it's not interesting enough for you to want to do it in your spare time, you're not going to give it your all. Creativity.
Yeah. I want to say one more. Well, we can talk about it after, but like creativity, like I really do think like a lot of us that do like write raps or say or like draw pictures, like our like initiative in like these areas inspire millions of like people. So like you need the create. We don't want people to like copy our work or whatever, but like that's really all we're releasing this stuff for, so we can give. It's not all we're releasing it for, but it's like so other people can absorb our ideas
and be inspired.
Like them. Yeah, and like them and get inspired. Like,
absolutely, I agree with that.
It took me till just now to realize that, because if it wasn't for like, I've taken things for like from guys like Jay-Z and all those guys. So like, I don't really like when people copy like some of the things I do or whatever, but it really just ends up building on everybody's level of creativity until we get to a point where it just explodes and everyone has this knowledge of how to be creative, and that's going to help everybody out.
Good artists create, great artists steal. That's a fact.
Yeah. No, I mean, you gotta, no idea is original. I'm writing a book. There is billions of them. I mean, it's not, no idea is original, you know, but like you can put your spin on it. I'm putting my spin on it by writing a book that I myself could not locate. So this is a new book, but it's something that's been done billions of times. Like somebody has put pen to paper a lot before me, but I'm putting it to paper about a collective of something that's not been done before. So I'm putting my own spin on books now, which is fun.
Yeah, that's really important. And have you ever been like in a place where you're like maybe writing something and you look at like a architecture or something and it gives you an idea for like
maybe not architecture, but yeah, I've been writing and like looked at stuff and written more because I've seen things that like my
that
desk
have nothing to do with the subject you're on. Like
yeah, absolutely. Like absolutely. Like now that you're talking about it, there was like I was just creative writing, because I'm not doing a lot of creative writing right now. It's mostly factual, so I like to keep my skills sharp in other writing areas, just because you never know when you might break them out. And so I was doing some creative writing, and I was writing about like something that was supposed to be strong, and I couldn't come up with a good word for it. And I was just like looking around, and on my desk I have like little model tanks, and I was like, strong like the armor of a tank. and so that I included that, and like I built on that and made it a little bit more in the story. And you know, I always delete them at the end, because it's like I'm not going to turn this into anything unless it's something that's really, really good, then I'll save it. But like, yeah, so I definitely be getting inspired by other stuff that's just has nothing to do with what I'm writing about, you know. And then also I'm a photographer, so like I like just going out and finding different angles on things. And I feel like that translates to the rest of my life too. Like I'm always looking for a different angle on something. I'm always like, I'm interested in like different opinions on everything and different facts and stuff like that. I can have my opinion changed at any time on anything as long as enough facts are presented to me in a reasonable way. You know, I'm not dead set on pretty much anything. But yeah, creativity is a fun thing, and I like creative people because they're all, for the most part, pretty laid back, you know. They like to be in their space, and for a lot of the time I find creative people are like, they have friends and whatnot, but they're more loners. Like, they can spend time alone and not feel bad about it. Like, my fiance, as much as I love her, I would not deem her necessarily creative. You know, like, if there's a recipe that she's trying to make, she follows the recipe exactly. I'll be in there, like, trying to make ribs, and it'll say, like, just put salt and pepper on them. I'll be like, fuck that, brown sugar, cayenne pepper, some other shit, you know, like that kind of thing. And she'll just put salt and pepper on it and boom, in the oven.
That's my problem with America, yo.
Yeah.
Yo, when you go these websites, they ask you how to make chicken. They literally will tell you how to make chicken. It's not gonna be good. You have to put something else in it.
Put your own shit on it. No, but that's the thing. There's a certain level. I mean, I have many hobbies that I'm good at just because I am a creative type person. She is really, really good at going into a science classroom, sitting down, absorbing that information, and busting it out when she goes into the lab. And I'm not talking about the stew. No, but like she's really good at busting out, like, you know, how to measure milligrams of what goes well with what versus what will cause an explosion. I couldn't tell you. I might go in there and accidentally blow us all up, but like she would not. And like, but she also, if you asked her to write a poem or if you asked her to like create a recipe from scratch or something, she would be lost, I think.
But
and
that's the difference. There's a crucial difference. You got people that can follow instructions. Recipe aren't really like, if you look at some of these recipes,
recipes
bro,
are
it's
instructions.
Like, turn the oven on. Does that help the flavor of the food? Well, obviously it cooks the food.
Yes,
but like,
it cooks.
That's not a recipe.
Okay, that's not
turn the oven on.
Well, but okay, yeah, but some people, honestly,
we'll put the chicken in the oven.
No, one of my friends discovered butter noodles earlier this semester, and she came to me. She was like, "Have you ever tried butter noodles?" And I was like,
"Butter on noodles."
I was like, "You mean like you made noodles and you put butter on them?" She was like, "Yeah, it's crazy." And I was like, "No, the fuck, it's not.
I want to see the recipe.
It's not crazy. Do you want to know the recipe for it?
What do you think? The page is like, what's the recipe for?
No,
butter?
it's boil water, put pasta in, drain water out, butter, salt, and pepper. She asked for just salt and pepper.
I'm gonna write a cookbook. I'm gonna write a cookbook, and if somebody wants to say how to make honey mustard, what do you think? I'll be like, what do you think? Honey and mustard.
Okay, yes, a little bit. It's literally gonna be.
I'm not even gonna say that. I'm not even gonna say that. I'm just the piece of paper is gonna say, "What the fuck do you think?"
Oh my god!
Right, how do you?
No,
how do
you're gonna mess with so many people, and that cookbook's not gonna sell. This is just a failed endeavor from the start, bro.
I know.
Oh, I know, but I know what you mean though. Like, either the recipe is like almost aggressively making fun of you for how dumb you are because it's giving you like tips on what, like, turn oven on, remove things from oven, and like it's almost like it's mocking you, or it is ridiculously long-winded and it's like, when I was a boy and my mom used to make spaghetti and meatballs and I would look out the window and it was snowing and I would think, what a wonderful day off from school. And it's just like, dude, shut the fuck up. Tell me how to make a meatball, please. For the love of God. Should I have the sauce going now or not? I don't give a shit about the cocoa or the marshmallows or any of your mom's stuff. Just tell me about the meatballs. I read a lot of articles on cooking because I like to cook, but like, I don't know.
I hate cooking with a passion. That shit is ass. You putting all that work just to eat that shit in like 2 days. What the fuck does that even mean, bro?
Andre, it takes you 2 days to eat.
No, to finish the meal you made. What?
But, no, I'm messing with you. You just said you put in all that work to eat it in 2 days. Like, Really, bro? It takes you 2 days to eat a plate?
Sometimes one, bro. It's ridiculous.
No.
It's a lot of work,
like,
but like it goes away fast. And like as soon as you make it, you destroy it. But I get it.
Well, but I started cooking when I was young. Like my dad would always cook all the meals in our house because my mom's fine, but she's a creative, but just not in the kitchen. She's really good at baking though, but she's just not like the best at like she couldn't grill a steak to the right temperature, you know. Like that's just something you kind of know or you don't, or somebody has to train you to like, hey, touch it, feel it, like it's supposed to be this tender, this hard, but like some people just are able to look at it and know. And luckily I happen to be one of those people. So like I was intuitively good at cooking, but then watching my dad do it, I picked up on other things. But now he has even agreed that the mantle's been passed to me because like I do things in the kitchen that he never thought to do before because I watched him. And like we were going back, it all comes full circle on this pod, bro. Like we were talking about inspiration. Like my dad was my inspiration in the kitchen. Now I watch videos. You would
think, why don't you just do this?
Yeah, no,
my mom made pancakes
bro.
in the morning. Like why don't you just put like I might have been like a little bit crazy. Or like, why don't you just put ice cream on it? It's sweet.
Okay, that's unbelievably ridiculous. But yes, I agree
good.
with it.
It's really good.
I bet it is, bro. But ice cream on top of a brownie is good. But it's also just like, it's just like warm, cold, sweet. You know, it's good. I feel you. I understand what you're saying. But like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like,
same idea, different execution.
Okay, you know what? Fair enough. Actually, same idea, different execution. Mine is like, I fine-tune the things that my dad does. Like I went over the other night and I was like, I'll make the side dish. And my dad was like, you know, your mom really likes the way I make the potatoes. I was like, all right, whatever, bro. You make some potatoes, I'll make them too, whatever. And like he comes in from outside 5 minutes later and my potatoes had started and I put garlic and butter and all sorts of shit in them. And they're not mashed potatoes. I do them in a cast iron. Like they're legit, man. I've got a whole process down and they're honestly the best potatoes I've ever had. They're kind of like fried, but also mashed on the inside. It's good. Some good shit. But he comes back in and he goes, oh, are those your potatoes? And I was like, yeah, them's my potatoes. He was like, they smell pretty good. And I was like, they do, don't they? And he was like, yeah, they do. And I was like, how'd you do yours? He was like, I wrapped them in tinfoil and put them in the oven. I was like, any seasoning? He was like, salt and pepper and butter.
Yeah, why do white people not like to use seasoning?
It's not. No. That's a thing. Like that's
is that like
my
a stereotype?
Dad, no, it depends. It honestly depends. I mean, like my fiance's dad went to culinary school, but like he put artichoke hearts in chili the other day, and I was like, bro, why? I was like, why'd you put artichoke in this chili? And it was also like turkey chili and like things like that. I just refuse to sell out and do like a turkey burger or a turkey chili. Yeah. If I'm going to eat the goddamn calories associated with this, add the other 50 that the red meat is going to give me. I do not fucking care at this point, you know? Like,
hey, did y'all hear that? Like the commercial, like at the Whopper, for the Whopper, like the Impossible Burger Whopper? Yeah. The dude's like, I'm a damn fool. And I was like, damn fool, because you know that was not like a regular burger.
It was not good. It was not good. But anyways, yeah, and like he puts weird things together, and like as a result, she does weird things, but she also like is learning from me, and now she's I bumped the mic, but now she's significantly better. I know, bro. I can't. I drank a large coffee today. I can't help but touch things on the table.
Drinking that crack, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Right. I drank a large coffee today. It was delicious. I love cold brew, man. But anyways, it's less acidic in case your stomach ever has problems. If people out there listening,
just drink water. You'll be fine.
Yeah, but also coffee's fun. Tastes good. I make small ones. Like I don't drink a big old coffee, but yeah. No,
still
anyways.
Crack.
All right, fine, whatever.
Dre's just so harsh. Like you can't. Yes, coffee is good. Like you might want to have a coffee every now and then.
Yeah, I don't drink it every single day. Just on days where I'm doing something important. I labeled y'all important. Look at that. Anyways, y'all were important enough to drink some coffee for. I don't know how that's supposed to make you feel. But
like I said, I know I am who I am with without. It's
yeah. Basically, though, it depends on the white person. It really does. To get back to it, it depends on the white person. As a white man who has spent a lot of time in other white people's houses, I know some who can cook and some who cannot. And it really depends. Like, I mean, for me, when I go in the kitchen, I learned from my dad, and to me, some of the things he made were a little basic, so I spice them up now. But, you know, compared to some of my other friends' houses, like, if you came to our house, you knew you were going to eat good, and people would come to our house specifically for that reason sometimes. Like, we had neighbors who would just, like, smell the grill kick on, and they would show up to conveniently want to play Xbox with me. And then they'd be like, oh, can I call my mom and ask if I can stay for dinner? So, you know, I mean, like, people knew of my dad's cooking skill. But then, like, the people down the street who I would eat dinner with sometimes, they, like, would grill chicken with no seasoning. You know, like the typical white person meme is, you know, you grill chicken with no seasoning. Okay, all right, let's eat this dry ass chicken. But like, that's literally, like, the meme has some base in reality, because it just depends on the white person, their creativity levels, and what they enjoy to eat by themselves.
You know what? Yo, I had, like, this is the best. It was like all the chicken was dry, like you said. But like they had like this one dish where it was like they had sweet potatoes, but they had like biscuits on the sweet potatoes. Like, you basically had a sweet potato biscuit. It was so good.
Well,
it was
that
like
sounds
really
good.
sugary and cinnamony in it. Yeah, it was really good.
Are you sure it wasn't marshmallows on top? It was an actual biscuit.
Biscuit.
Okay. Well, shit.
I had
don't
never
know.
seen it before. That's why I remember it so well.
Okay, yeah, and you just think about sweet potato biscuits and how to get more of them. No, but it really does, though. It depends on the house and the people in it, because, I mean, some of my friends are capable cooks, and some of them still don't know how to make pasta. So, like, it also depends on the parenting, because some of my friends, like, were like me, and like they just had an interest in cooking, and their parents were like, all right, well, you can start cooking for yourself. And then they were left to their own devices more at home as a result sometimes, because like once I started cooking for myself, my parents were like, okay, well, I mean, if he can cook for himself, then we can go out a little more, that kind of thing. And they didn't like go out and party or whatnot, but like they would go to my sister's basketball games and not worry about me not having dinner, because they'd be like, well, he'll make something for himself. And I would. And it was fun for me, because I would just make the quantity I wanted and eat it all. And it was awesome. And then nobody was in the kitchen telling me, you can't eat 7 eggs, John. And I would be like, I'm going to eat 7 eggs now, because nobody's telling me I can't. And a pound of sausage. This is going to be an epic meal.
And now you're 6'6".
Yeah, no, exactly, bro. But like, yeah, and especially in high school, you know, when I started smoking weed, like, then I got really creative in the kitchen. And like that was when I actually that was when I actually started getting really, really good at cooking. Was when I was high. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, can we talk about the Kevin Hart Oscar thing?
Whatever that is, yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is, but
Yeah.
go ahead, man. We've been going for a while now.
It's the last thing we probably gonna talk about, but go ahead.
Yeah, so like Kevin Hart like was supposed to host the Oscars, and because he had a joke back in like I think 2014.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that
I
was,
did hear
like
this.
last year.
This was a while ago,
Yeah,
man.
that was last year.
But
Did you just find out?
Yeah, so my grieving process started now. My grieving process started a little bit later.
Me and Andre are like, well, we have no idea what you're talking. Oh, dude, that was last year. You're just like,
But do y'all think that decision was right? That's all I want to know.
I mean, yeah,
well, I don't remember the specifics, man. It was literally too long ago.
I kind of do. So he apologized.
Was it a homophobic
It
joke?
was either a gay joke or a retarded joke.
Gay joke.
It was a gay. All right. Thing is, like, I just don't like that he said. Well, honestly, I don't give a fuck. But he said he wasn't gonna apologize. Then he went on tour like apologizing every time it was brought up in the interview. Like, all right, my nigga. All right.
Yeah, it made him like that was one of his big specials. It made him basically a multimillionaire. And now, like, it
was a tweet.
As somebody who wants
a tweet.
I
thought it was the joke when he said
it was a joke, but it wasn't. I think it was in a tweet that they pulled up when he said it. That's where they got it from, a tweet.
Oh man, social media is killing him.
But the thing is about society nowadays, it's a code red on like all people who are against homophobia, lesbianism, transgenderism. Because you can't say anything without people coming at you. But the question is, why all of a sudden? That's the real question. Like, why all of a sudden are they attacking all this? And the main people they're getting are just certain type of people. Like, all right, they're not caring anybody else but these group of people.
It's supposed to be accepting. That's what all of this is in the name of. And like, there's certainly agendas, but also at the same time, I mean, there should be more accepting people in the world. Like, people should be more accepting of other people and their life choices, because if it's not really hurting me, then I don't give a fuck. But at the same time, yeah, like Kevin Hart,
thing is, it's hurting the morale.
Yeah, he's a comedian. I feel like they
comedians,
have like more.
Yeah, as somebody who wants to be a comedian, I'm going to go on stage and I'm going to make fun of my neighbors who happen to be black, and I won't like not talk about them like that. But like, if somebody gets butthurt about it, I'm going to be like, well, you didn't say shit when I made fun of the white people for not seasoning their chicken, just using that as like an example. Like, why are you coming to me now when it's about, you know, somebody of your skin color? What's the difference between that? Or why didn't you defend the gays when I was making fun of gay people like 5 minutes ago? You know, if it didn't offend you when other people were getting made fun of, then it shouldn't offend you when like I'm saying something that is specifically targeted at, or not specifically targeted, but just something that's like a joke that is in a comedy section, or like if you're gonna come to a comedy show.
I don't know anymore, because you just made me think like maybe I wouldn't be okay with it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But that's the thing. If you're not gonna be okay with it, then I think don't go to a comedy show, because I have no prejudice, but my neighbors are black people, and as a result, they did some things that were stereotypical of black people. Like, every time I would go outside, they would be out there sitting on the back porch, and they smoked Newports, and they were sitting out there smoking Newports and talking mad shit. And I would talk shit with them, but they would always offer me one, and I'd say, no, I'm good, thanks. And then I would go in, and I would go outside so it didn't seem like I was closing my windows because of them, but like I would have to go out on the back porch, talk shit with them for a minute, and then go inside and close the windows, because I didn't want my house to smell like smoke, but I also didn't want it to seem like I was the rude like asshole closing my door because of them. So like, I'm not a racist individual.
Okay, but I was thinking more like these niggas.
I would never. First of all, I never used that word. I have black cousins. I hate people that use that word. And like, I don't like. You know, I'm not going to be inflammatory on purpose, but I'm also going to tell a joke about my black neighbors who smoke Newports and talk shit to me about not being able to cook chicken. And then I cook chicken better than them. So, like, you know, like, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not going to go up on stage and start dropping M-bombs and just being like, look at this man in the front row. Yeah, bro. Yeah, I see you. Like, and just start talking shit about one individual. But, like, you know, if it's a funny story or something, I'm not going to not tell it because it might offend one person.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
Because if I'm telling funny stories about all people, then that's just what I'm doing, you know? And I'm not going to have to apologize for one in particular just because it hurts some people's feelings. I know I'm touching the mic stand again. I can't help it. I can't help it. Andre's going to get like a, if I ever come back on here, which it's a maybe at this point, Andre's gonna get like some long stick or something to hit my hand with when I'm touching the mic stand.
Like a damn shock mount or some shit.
Yeah, he's gonna make me put on like a shock collar on my wrist like a dog, and he's gonna have the little like keypad and just anytime it goes near the mic.
Well, to piggyback off what you just said, people just gotta stop like caring about what other people fucking think, because simply, if people talk shit, just talk shit back.
It's fun.
Not that hard. But I do understand some people just aren't mentally capable of talking shit and taking jokes from other people.
That was me as a kid, but it made me tougher when kids made fun of me, because the thing about it was, and I said this to my mom one day, I came home from school, I was really upset because like a specific group of people used to make fun of me a lot. And I was always just so much bigger than them. But being that we grew up when we did, you know, you can't punch the shit out of anybody anymore in schools. And like my dad would always say, well, hit him. But I would, and then I would get in trouble. So like I finally stopped hitting them, but then I wasn't quick enough on my feet to make fun of people. Now I got to the point where I am. And so it taught me to just laugh things off at first. But now like I laugh things off and I talk shit back if I know the situation's cool for me to talk shit back. And it's fun. And it's a good way to go through life because you find more joy that way than you do getting insulted and hurt by people. Like some guy in traffic the other day was yelling at me that my car was a piece of shit because he was in a Tesla and I almost crashed his Tesla. I threw up air quotes, but like I was at least a car length behind him and he kept brake checking me. And I pulled up next to him at the red light and he was like some 35-year-old guy. And I was like, dude, like, lick my taint. And then I just floored it.
What if it was Elon Musk? What if Elon Musk was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yo, this is a prototype. You almost just clipped the new one.
Man, fuck your Tesla, nigga.
Yeah, no. But literally, I just pulled up to him and I rolled down the window.
$1 billion out the window and hit you in the face.
I'd catch it. What are you talking about? I'd be happy with that. If Elon, this is an open invitation to you to throw money at me whenever you want, as long as it is not in the form of coins. I would prefer paper bills, please. But yeah, no, I mean, honestly, it was funny to me because he got really upset with me. And it just made me laugh.
Who, Elon Musk? Or?
Yeah, Elon, he blocked me on Twitter. No. The guy driving the Tesla, he got like furious with me. I was a car length behind him and he was just going too slow. He could have gotten out of the way, but he chose not to. But anyways, he kept brake checking me. Then he's yelling at me through his window. And I just rolled down my window and I started laughing at him and pointing at him. And as he finishes up this long rant, I was just like, hey, dude, hey, lick my taint. And then I floored it and drove off. And like that, it supplied me with laughter for the next 3 days. Every time I saw a Tesla for the next 3 days, I was just like, that bitch in the Tesla. I hope somebody does crash that thing. And then it moved my day forwards. And I bet it was a new one for him to get told to lick another grown man's taint.
It's nasty.
It is nasty, and that's why it's my favorite of the insults, because it's just like it catches you off guard and you're like, wait, lick what? Because a lot of people can say like lick my dick or something like that, but lick my taint, that's a new one. Oh, shit. All right, I know you want to get out of here, Andre. But do you want to end it on that?
Yeah, fuck it. Y'all got an issue with this podcast, which is possible. As like I said, John said, lick the taint, actually.
Yeah.
Lick the audio engineering equipment, whatever. But we're going into DZN Radio episode 2 next. But first, we're gonna outro. Of course, if you want to reach the DZN Podcast, we're on Instagram. Type in d.z.n.podcast on Instagram. DZN Podcast on YouTube. DZN Podcast on Twitter. And if you want to reach me, you can reach me on Twitter at not Twitter. Instagram, man. RETROD.R.E. Twitter, RetroDre_. And YouTube, retro space D.R.E. And Zoe.
You can reach me on Instagram, young_Pluto08.
That's it. Okay. All right. You can find me on Twitter at JohnSullivan20. And on Instagram, same name at JohnSullivan20. And you can also find me at Krispy Kreme after this, getting a donut. All right.
All right. Appreciate y'all for listening to the DZN Podcast and all things required and presented to you. Have a safe morning, evening, or night whenever you are listening to this. And we're going to end with that. In DZN Radio, we're going to start with a track from me, Enzo, across the room. He knows this. He doesn't know I'm playing it, but I'm going to play it anyway. All right. Peace out.